Are you ready to learn real English from a real English conversation? I hope so, because today you are going to learn 10 naturally used English phrases from the conversation that I had with my neighbor Michelle a few weeks ago here on my YouTube channel. Not only will you learn how they were used in that conversation, but also how you can use them, including one expression that if you use it in the wrong way could be kind of rude. So you have to be careful, but don't worry, I will teach you how to use it well. Hi, I'm Vanessa from speakenglishwithvanessa.com, and like always, I have created a free PDF worksheet that includes all of today's vocabulary, definitions, sample sentences, and all of those nuanced meanings that we'll talk about today so that you can use these expressions in your daily life without being too rude, right? Plus, as a bonus, I have included in the worksheet a little quiz. Test yourself and see if you can really remember the expressions that you're going to learn in today's lesson. So, how can you get this worksheet? All you need to do is click on the link in the description, enter your name and email address, and voila, just like that, the worksheet plus the bonus quiz will land in your email inbox. And do you want to know something even better? You never have to sign up for my free PDF worksheets again. I will send them to you automatically every single week. You sign up once and you never need to sign up again. How great! This is my gift to you. So make sure you click on the link in the description to get today's PDF and bonus quiz. All right, let's get started with our real natural English expressions. The first expression is outside the box. I'm going to be telling you what the expression is, and then you're going to see the clip where it was used in the original conversation with my neighbor, Michelle. This will give you some context, and then we'll talk about the expression, and then you'll watch that clip again. I have a feeling that you're going to understand that clip a lot better, so your listening skills will grow, your vocabulary skills will grow, and I hope you'll have a great time. All right, let's take a look at the clip where we used outside the box. Let's watch.
And I feel like your garden style is like so much more outside the box than mine. I've got like raised beds in these orders, these little seed stars, and you got like snails and bags.
That's because
and,
I spend too much time on Instagram.
In this clip, I said, I feel like your garden style is more outside the box than mine. And it's true, Michelle's style of gardening is a little more creative or unusual than mine. Mine is pretty standard. I have little boxes where I grow each of my plants and I plant them in my garden beds. Now this expression was quite clever, if I do say so myself, because I was talking about garden boxes. And here the expression is outside the box. Great. Well, let me give you another example of how you can use this. If you're having a marketing meeting and you're trying to figure out how to get more customers, one of your coworkers might say, well, we can spend more on our advertising. You might say, well, I think we need to think outside the box more. We've tried spending more money on advertising and it didn't lead to more customers. So what are you suggesting here? You're suggesting different creative or unusual ways to get more customers. Let's not think of the usual ways. Let's think outside the box and come up with some new ways. All right, let's watch the original clip again when we used outside the box. I want you to listen for that expression and understand more than the first time. Let's go.
And I feel like your garden style is like so much more outside the box than mine. I've got like raised beds in these orders, these little seed stars, and you got like snails and bags.
That's because
and, like,
I spend too
circles.
much time on Instagram.
The second real life English phrase is, I'm cheap. Are we buying someone? Is this product cheap? Not exactly. Let's take a look at the original clip and then I'll explain it. Let's go.
You've been growing like a lot of these starts at home. Why don't you just go to the store and buy little tomato plants?
Because I am cheap.
So this is cheaper.
This is a lot cheaper.
In this clip, Michelle was explaining that she likes to grow things from seeds at home by herself because, she said, I'm cheap. It doesn't mean that we're purchasing Michelle. A product can be cheap, but also a person can be cheap too. And this simply means that you don't like to spend money. Michelle doesn't want to spend money on buying expensive plants. She knows that she can try it herself and save money. I would say that it's best to not call someone else cheap. If you say you're cheap, it kind of implies that they're stingy, they're kind of rude and don't want to spend money on necessary things. But really, you can call yourself cheap and it's totally fine. I think that goes for a lot of kind of rude things. You can call yourself that, but you shouldn't call someone else cheap. If you want a little bonus expression for how we can talk about someone not wanting to spend money, but in a nice way, you can use the word frugal. If you say, he's frugal, that means the same thing. He doesn't like to spend money, but the nuance is that it's positive. He's careful with his money. It's not just that he's cheap. He doesn't want to spend any money. He wants to keep it for himself. No, instead, he's frugal. He's careful with his money. All of these little nuances of the expressions will be included in the PDF worksheet, so make sure that you download it so that you can remember all of them. All right, let's watch that clip one more time and hear how Michelle said the word cheap.
You've been growing like a lot of these starts at home. Why don't you just go to the store and buy little tomato plants?
Because I am cheap.
So this is cheaper.
This is a lot cheaper.
The next expression is kind of an advanced one. It is the least I could do. I want you to watch the original clip and then we're gonna break down the nuance of this so that you can use it accurately. Let's watch.
I released them elsewhere. One of them accidentally died. And you buried that, thank you.
I felt like I had this, the least I could do is bury the groundhog.
But like, what's it gonna be this year?
In this clip, Michelle said, I felt like the least I could do was bury the groundhog. So we trapped many groundhogs. I think it was 7 groundhogs that were eating our vegetables last summer. I trapped them. I relocated almost all of them, but one of them died. It was pretty sad. So what would we do with that? What should we do with that dead groundhog? Well, Michelle felt like she owed me. She felt like she had a debt to me. I was taking care of the other 6 groundhogs. I was doing that work and I was happy to do it, but she felt a little bit guilty. So that's the nuance here. She used this expression, it was the least I could do to bury the groundhog, because she felt like she should do more. She felt like I need to do more than just bury the groundhog, so I'm going to do this to kind of make myself feel less guilty. So let me give you another scenario for when you can use this, because you're probably not burying groundhogs, I imagine. But let me give you a common scenario. So a couple weeks ago, one of my friends had a new baby. And I know when you have a new baby, you have no time to do anything else except for care for that baby. So I made her a lot of food. I made her a couple dinners. I made her family some muffins, some desserts. I brought over food several times. This was my pleasure. I was so happy to do this for her. And even though it was my pleasure, she still felt a little bit guilty. She wanted to do something for me, even though she did not need to. I told her this is just me giving back because so many people gave to me when I had my babies. But even though that was the case, she still felt like she wanted to do something for me. So when she gave back the containers of the food after she ate it and she washed it and gave it back to me, she put in there some packets of tea that I love. This was a little gift for me, and when I opened it, I said, "Oh, you didn't need to do this for me." And she used this expression. She said, "It was the least I could do." She felt a little bit guilty that I gave her so much and she was only giving me a little bit in return, just some tea. But it was my pleasure. I was very happy to do it. I didn't expect anything in return, but she felt a little guilty. So that's a great way to use this phrase, and it's a good way to show I appreciate all your hard work. It was the least I could do. I am happy to give you this. Let's watch that clip one more time, and I want you to hear that expression, it was the least I could do. Let's go.
I released them elsewhere. One of them accidentally died. And you buried that, thank you.
I felt like I had this, the least I could do is bury the groundhog.
But like, what's it gonna be this year?
The next expression is a fun question, and it has a nuance with the way that you say it. What else do you need? What else do you need? Notice this excitement, this heightened anticipation. What else do you need? I'm not asking this sincerely. What else do you need? No, instead, this is a rhetorical question. I am not expecting an answer. I want you to listen to the way that it was used in the conversation with Michelle, and then I'll help you use it yourself as well. Let's watch.
Also, we have lots of extra eggs right now.
Extra. See?
So
think about it. We got eggs. We have tomatoes.
Yeah.
We can make omelets. It's fine. What else do you need?
That's true. Yeah.
In the conversation, we were talking about all of the different types of food that we grow or have at our houses already. We have eggs, we have tomatoes, we could make an omelet. That's fine. What else do you need? So here, this phrase is implying we don't need anything else. If you sincerely ask, what else do you need? It's a question. You want an answer. You want to know what else that person needs. But when you say it like this, what else do you need? What else do you need? Notice that inflection. It implies you don't need anything else. You're not expecting an answer. This is called a rhetorical question. You're not expecting an answer. You're just making this statement as part of the conversation. So you might say that about learning English as well. You might say, I'm learning English with Vanessa. What else do I need? Which implies you don't need anything else. All you need are my lessons. All right, let's watch the clip from the original conversation one more time. I want you to listen for the inflection in our voice. Let's go.
Also, we have lots of extra eggs right now.
Extra. See?
So
think about it. We got eggs. We have tomatoes.
Yeah.
We can make omelets. It's fine. What else do you need?
That's true. Yeah.
The next phrase is rain or shine. I want you to watch the original clip and hear about what it's like to have a cow. Let's watch, and then we'll talk about rain or shine.
Like it's just every day you milk them, right?
Twice a day, rain or shine. They're out there for 30 minutes.
Otherwise, they're in pain,
the
too.
cow's in pain. You have to milk your cow.
Yeah.
And they even have like a little machine.
In this clip, I was talking about someone I know who has a milk cow, and they said they have to milk their cow, rain or shine, every day for 30 minutes. Well, yes, they have to do it if it is raining or if the sun is shining, but this has more nuance to it. This expression is more figurative. It means if there are bad things happening or good things happening in their life, it doesn't matter. Maybe the farmer has the flu and they can't get out of bed, they have a fever. It doesn't matter. They have to still milk that cow. Maybe it's a beautiful day and they're so excited to be outside, they have to milk the cow. So it implies it doesn't matter the circumstance, you still have to do it, rain or shine. So let me give you another example that doesn't involve going outside or the weather to show you you can use this expression to not talk about outside at all. Well, let's say that you are a mother like me. You are in charge of feeding your family. That's me. Well, your kids and your family are hungry probably 3 times a day. So what does that mean? You have to cook dinner, rain or shine, every day. Okay, who cares about the weather? You're inside. That's probably where you make dinner. Well, if you're feeling not too well, you have to cook dinner. If you're tired, you have to cook dinner. If you're busy, you have to cook dinner. Hopefully you have some help in your life so you actually do get a break. For me, my husband and I often split cooking duties. He cooks a couple times a week. I cook a couple times a week. So he can help if I'm actually really sick. But in general, my family has to eat dinner Every night, rain or shine, so I need to cook, rain or shine. All right, let's watch how this was used again in the original conversation, and I want you to feel empowered to use this yourself. Let's watch.
Like it's just every day you milk them, right?
Twice a day, rain or shine. They're out there for 30 minutes.
Otherwise, they're in pain,
The
too.
cow's in pain. You have to milk your cow.
Yeah.
And they even have like a little machine.
The next real life daily expression that we used in the conversation was I looked into it, or just the phrasal verb to look into something, to look into something. Let's watch the original conversation clip and then we'll break it down together. Let's go.
Someone else would have a cow.
Goats will be the same way.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be the same. And plus, you have to have like a setup to send the goat in that holds them still while you're. I looked into it. I'm not doing it. Yeah.
In the conversation, Michelle was talking about having a goat. She said, you have to have a setup for where you milk the goat. I looked into it and I'm not going to do it. So she has researched getting a goat. What does it mean to have a goat? How much work is it? Is it easy? Is it worth it? She researched it, or she looked into it, and she decided, this is not for me. So this phrasal verb, to look into something, means that you research it. Simply that. You could use this to mean, I'm looking into the box. But that's a figurative way. We use that less often. Instead, we can use it in a more figurative way to talk about researching something. Let me give you another example for how to use to look into it. Well, if you have ever watched the news, you know that the media tries to portray everything as big news, infuriating news, get angry about this, get worked up about this, this is so important. But often the news and what goes on in the world is way more complex than the news really wants to show. So, if you are talking about the news with your friend, you might use this phrase and say, you know what? I looked into it and this topic is way more complicated than the media is trying to tell us. The media is making it seem like this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. But really, I looked into it. It is so complicated. And isn't that the truth? Most topics, especially when it comes to politics, are really complicated. And if you look into it, you see there's a lot more nuance than the media would like to portray. All right, let's watch this clip one more time so that you can see how to look into it was used. Let's watch.
Someone else would have a cow.
Goats will be the same way.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be the same. And plus, you have to have like a setup to send the goat in that holds them still while you're. I looked into it. I'm not doing it. Yeah.
The next real English phrase is a long one. You just never know. This is used often all together as a fixed phrase. You just never know. So let's listen to how it was used in the conversation and then we'll talk about it together.
I would rather, if it's available, buy meat and not have to be that person. I'd rather grow tomatoes.
But you want to be able to if you have to. You know, you just never know. And prices are going up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about other parts of the world, but eggs are $7
it's crazy.
for a dozen now.
In the conversation, we said you need to be able to take care of yourself because you just never know. Notice this pronunciation. The word just is reduced so much, is said so quickly that it's hardly there. Listen when I say it. You just never know. You just, my lips don't even move. You just never know. You just never know. You just never know. But it's still important that it's there in the sentence. You just never know. You just never know. Here we're talking about scenarios that we can't plan for, something unexpected. So I often say that about recording these English lessons for you. I have a lot of moving parts in my life. I have 3 kids. 2 of them are in school. 1 of them is taking a nap right now. Who knows? Maybe one of those kids is gonna get sick, or maybe my child won't take a nap. How am I going to record this lesson? Well, I need to record them a little bit in advance because you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. So when I tell my friends, hey, sorry, I can't get together today, I need to record some lessons for my students, They might say, hey, didn't you just record lessons last week? And I would use this phrase. Well, you just never know. My kids could be homesick from school tomorrow and then I can't record anything. So I need to do it in advance when I am available and can, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You just never know. All right, let's watch this clip from the original conversation so that you can use it yourself.
I would rather, if it's available, buy meat and not have to be that person. I'd rather grow tomatoes.
But you want to be able to if you have to. You know, you just never know. And prices are going up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about other parts of the world, but eggs are $7
it's crazy.
for a dozen now.
The next real life expression is feels like. This is often used with temperature. So I want you to listen to this clip from our real conversation and hear how feels like is used with temperature, and then we'll talk about it. Let's go.
During the day, you can't come out here.
I know the other day I went downtown with the kids and it said 92 feels like 106.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing out here?
In this clip, we were talking about the hot summer weather, and I said I went downtown with my kids and the temperature said 92 feels like 106. So here often, especially where I live, it's really humid. So that means that whatever is the real temperature, it feels way hotter because of the humidity. If you live somewhere dry, you probably don't experience this on a daily basis. But if you travel to somewhere that's humid, the heat is just a totally different thing. So this phrase, feels like, is often used to talk about what the temperature actually feels like. We can also use this in the winter. So if there's a lot of wind and it feels a lot colder than the actual temperature, it might say, well, the weather today, the temperature is 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so 2 degrees. The temperature is 2 degrees, feels like -10. Ugh. So that means the wind is blowing so much that it's gonna feel that much colder than the real temperature. So you can say, well, it's 92, but feels like 106. Whatever that is in Celsius, I'll put it here. But it's talking about the difference between the real temperature and what it feels like. All right, let's watch that original clip so that you can see how this expression was used, and you can use it too to talk about temperature. Let's go.
During the day, you can't come out here.
I know the other day I went downtown with the kids and it said 92 feels like 106.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing out here?
The next expression is dense. You have to be careful with this one. I will teach you how to use it carefully, but we're gonna watch how it was used in the conversation and then we'll break it down. Let's go.
Let's see. The one that I just showed you is vintage wine.
Dense this is.
And then there's another one called San Marzano. I know. I tried to prop them up.
In the conversation, we were going on a tour through the garden and said, look how dense this part of the garden is. When we're talking about a thing, it is absolutely okay to use the word dense. It means it's packed together. So you might say the dense rows of corn were difficult to walk through. Okay, it's all packed together. But warning, 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 do not say that someone is dense. If you use this or you hear someone use this to talk about a person, it means they're not smart. They are dumb. It's not a nice thing, right? So if you hear someone say, maybe in a movie or a TV show, man, he's so dense, it's not nice. I could imagine this used in a scenario where maybe the girl is flirting with someone and the guy just has no clue. He says, oh yeah, we're friends and we're going over here and we're doing this. And the girl is flirting so much, she's trying to make him see, I like you, I want to be with you. But he has no clue. Well, she might say, man, he's so dense. He doesn't see that I'm trying to flirt with him. So it's not a positive thing when we use dense to talk about a person, but to talk about something, it's no problem. All right, let's see how this was used in the original conversation. I want you to listen for that word dense. Let's go.
Let's see. The one that I just showed you is
at
vintage wine.
dense this is.
And then there's another one called San Marzano. I know, I tried to prop them up.
Our final real life English phrase is as you can see. There's a little nuance to this phrase, so let's watch how it was used in the conversation and then I'll break it down for you so you can use it too. Let's go.
So yeah, as you can see, like a lot of my pathways are taken over because I don't have good planning skills for how big plants get.
Me neither. Me neither.
In this clip, I said, as you can see, a lot of my pathways in the garden are taken over by plants. A lot of the plants by that point in the summer had grown so big that we couldn't walk on the pathways that were planned for us to walk on. But it's kind of obvious, right? If you look at it, you can see there's no pathway. But it's kind of a little bit rude to just say, all of the pathways are covered. Instead, I want to acknowledge that it's something obvious. As you can see, all the pathways are covered by plants. I didn't plan it very well and they just grew so big, which I guess is a good problem to have, right? But you can use as you can see when you're pointing out something obvious, but you want to be polite about it. So let's imagine this scenario. You're having a business meeting and you're showing a graph. You're showing all of the purchases made for the last quarter. And it goes like this. It goes up. Great, that's a good thing, right? But if you're talking about this, you might say, oh, our purchases have gone up or our revenue has gone up. It's fine, but if you add this expression, it shows, hey, I know that you're not dense. You can see that the revenue has gone up. So you can add that phrase. As you can see, the revenue has gone up because we have been selling more products. This is just a nice expression to add when something's obvious and you want to show the other person, I trust you can see this, but I'm going to say it anyway. All right, let's watch how that was used in the clip one more time so that you can use it yourself. Let's go.
So yeah, as you can see, like a lot of my pathways are taken over because I don't have good planning skills for how big plants get.
Me neither. Me neither.
Well, great work practicing all of those real life English expressions. Now, my challenge for you is to download the free PDF worksheet for all of these phrases. I have included all of the nuance, the extra expressions, the sample sentences, everything so that you can use these correctly yourself as well. And when you're watching a movie or TV show, you'll be able to remember, oh yeah, that's what they're really trying to say, even though that's what their words are saying. Maybe the nuance is a little different. So you can click on the link in the description, enter your name and email address, and voila, just like that, the free PDF worksheet plus the bonus quiz will land in your email inbox. This is my gift to you. I will continue to send you my free PDF worksheets every single week. You never need to sign up again. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! But wait, do you want more? If you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, I recommend watching the original conversation with Michelle. Immerse yourself in real English conversations and be able to use real English yourself. I'll see you there.